But when we get done, would you lead us in a spoonbill dance? Mr. Wong, Happy Family, when we get all finished, will you lead us in a spoonbill dance?
He does the spoonbill dance. He has had an operation. Okay, he can teach us.
No. Okay. I didn't understand. I didn't realize he had had an operation. I thought he just wasn't feeling well. But he does this extraordinary dance that is, he's photographed the spoonbills for so long that he can do the moves of the spoonbill for those of us who are from the foreign guests. That is as beautiful as the blackface dancer. But anyway, okay. Fiona.
Well, I just want to thank everybody. This has been a wonderful couple of days, and I've learned so much. And just kind of to reiterate what I was trying to get across in my presentation is just that we are really impressed with how much has been achieved just in a decade, 2 decades, in terms of reflecting your history and reflecting the culture of the land and the salt industry. And this makes me, it draws a lot of parallels to a conference I went to last summer in Portugal, and they were kind of at the same spot as you guys are now. You know, their economy has just crashed. They're trying to reinvent themselves. They're trying to share their history. And so I spent, 2 weeks or so in what was called a geopark. And so it was just an area of Portugal that was really rich in geologic formations. And it was kind of an interdisciplinary international conference to get all these brains together and try to come up with, simple but creative solutions. And I think it was really good because kind of drawing an international body of people gives you a very fresh perspective on a place. And I think you forget when you're a local. You know it means a lot to you. But it's really good to kind of get a new perspective and to point out what is special about a place. One kind of other thing that we did a lot of there, so this place, their main kind of agricultural economy was based on olive oil. And so one of the things we were really trying to do was to help them brand their product, because a lot of tourists, I feel, like to kind of take something home with them. They like a keepsake. And people love food. Taiwanese people know this. Food is just so special. And so, a lot of it was just trying to integrate your culture and food or something that you could take home. So they would make geo cookies. It was basically these little cookies that look like some type of rock. So I would kind of push that. I know when we went by the Salt Museum, I saw in the pamphlet that there's salt popsicles and salt coffee. So just kind of, pushing that envelope of kind of branding a place in terms of, how do you integrate salt into, what you can take home. Or even when we were at the Blackface Spoonbill Refuge the other day, there wasn't really a whole lot in terms of things you could purchase and take home. And so I think things like that are really important. I know Gina mentioned just this one little store at the refuge was like a third of their budget for the year. So things like that are pretty critical. What else?
Okay.
I think I have 2 other points. One is just that in my exploration of this place, one of the things I was constantly trying to find was perspective. And I think that just speaks to the flatness of this landscape. It's an incredibly beautiful landscape, but for some reason I always want to see things from a bird's eye view. And so I don't know if there's some way to integrate this into the tourist experience, but some way of creating, viewing platforms where you can look out onto salt ponds or something so that you can just kind of elevate your perspective of a place to understand it as the complex landscape that it is. And then lastly, I just think that there's a lot of really good energy and enthusiasm here. And I think kind of the most important thing in moving forward is just to keep building relationships, whether it be through schools, elementary schools. I know there's a lot of NTU students here. Just kind of keeping that relationship between the community members, but then bridging it with other educational foundations is really important. So thank you for having me.